Rotary Club meeting of July 25th. I'm Liz Barker, the president, and we're going to take a moment to start our meeting for a moment of reflection, meditate, and pray for those that are less fortunate than us today. Thank you very much. We have Corey with our flag salute, followed by Chuck with a four-way test. Corey.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four-way test to the things that are due. First,
Is it the truth? Is the bearer all concerned? Will it build goodwill of freedom and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you very much. We have
you what?
microphone. Please. We have one guest today who is a guest of mine. You have probably seen her before.
You can introduce her?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Sure, you stand up. This is Jamie Swain. She works for the University of Oklahoma for the Center for Public Management. So I always abbreviate, so never say it all. So please welcome Jamie. Quote of the day: you have the power, passion, and perseverance to achieve your goals. So go do it. I had to go do it because that was part of Rob's here. Let's get to it. And then we don't have any announcements today, but something I do have to say about announcements real quickly is if you have an announcement, we'll start doing some happy dollars. This club used to do happy dollars a few years ago, and we have not done them. It's up to the president and the committees whether you want to do it or not. So I like doing that, and we discussed at the board retreat on Saturday that we are going to raise money for a library and a school in Nigeria with a club that I met while I was at the Rotary International Conference. And so that's what our happy dollars will go to. So we'll still support literacy, but it'll support it in Nigeria. So every little bit will help them, and I will have pictures and graphics and a letter to show you from that club. I just do not have it by today, but I wanted to kind of give the club a heads up of what we're doing. So if you have announcements coming up, we are going to do those on the first and third weeks of the month, when we have time. And on the second and fourth weeks of the month, we'll do an introduction of a member of our club or red badge talk. Each of those will only take about 5 minutes per week, so for us to get done. If you have any other announcements that need to get on the PowerPoint or you want to get out in the newsletter, please submit those to Stephen Correnda in a timely manner. He sends out the email every Tuesday, so if you have something you want everyone to know, you need to let them know by Tuesday. It'll go in the newsletter, or it can also go on our PowerPoint presentation at every meeting that Stephen Correnda does so nicely for us. Thank you. On that same note, Rotary Road Rally Festival meeting will be Tuesday, 8 a.m. at YFAC. So if you're on that committee, please make sure you're there. We are meeting at YFAC that morning, 8 a.m. on this upcoming Tuesday. And there is a festival meeting this afternoon at 1 o'clock, immediately following in this room, if you're on the festival committee. Okay, we're moving on to recognitions. Can I have Jim Dabowski come up here for a moment, please? We're not doing a major ceremony for him. He said this is his 6th Rotary Club. If you out this club for the second time, but we are very honored to have you back. He is also a major donor. We're happy to have that presence in our club and that kind of commitment to Rotary. And so welcome back from your stay at Auburn for a little while, and we're glad you're back here in Norman and joined our club again. He's already ready to get on the committee.
Can I get a blue badge?
Okay. Like the secretary. Thank you so much, Jim. We're really glad to have you back and be involved in our club. So wonderful to have you here. Please remember that we record our meetings, and you can find them on YouTube. So if you want to share this presentation with someone else or tell them about what great meetings we have at Rotary and hear about our speakers, you can send them to YouTube, Norman Rotary Club, and they'll find it there. With no further ado today, our speaker today is one of our own and doesn't need much introduction himself, thank goodness. Tom Cooper is with Vision Bank, but today he is going to be talking to us about the wonderful water project that he's been involved in for many years, and I am very excited. I love the global projects that we do, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say. So with no further ado, Tom, please come up.
Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. It's been I couldn't figure out, I created this, I guess Ron Burton had suggested, I've been meaning to kind of recap all the projects we've done since I've been involved in about 8 or 9, right? And so I put that on your table if you want to look at it, but we're going on our 5th one. And before we get started, because there's one in particular we just had approved and we're ready to start. But, I just want to kind of see how I got into it, and there's a lot of people to say thank you to. But in particular, I know Ken Hubby brought Dr. Sabatini in one time in like 07 range to give, and he said something on Guatemala. I hope I'm right, Dr. Sabatini. And I've just been asked to be the president, for 09 and 10. And so I thought, I kind of made the own initiation. I was going to do something, and I decided it was going to be water to encourage me to think that way. And he was one of my committee members on my thesis, so I have a lot of respect for Dr. Sabatini. And then, at some point I was kind of investigating him, and I ran into Susie Howe, and of course Ron Burton, and she was encouraging me to call Stan in Houston and kind of get some momentum going early on this first one that Dr. Nara really did. And so I just started investigating, and then just started getting club money, and the grants are a little different in that grant than the ones we have today. But that one was a hard one, and it's still going on, and I'm not going to get into that. It would take hours at this point. But I really appreciate everyone that encouraged me to do that. And some people didn't want to spend that much time doing it, but that's just how long it took. Engineers in Action is the one that I've been clinging to. It was our first project. Dr. Aaron hooked up with out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And all these projects that Dr. Chamberlain and Dr. Sabatini's Ethiopian water project in like 11 or 12 range. We're all engineers in action out of Tulsa. They do only work in Bolivia. And we'll go over 2 of the projects. It started off as a Methodist missionary, and his father, they just put in a water well somewhere in Bolivia, was his thing. And his son, David Stevenson, also an ordained minister, decided that he would kind of remove religion from all this and start bringing in, like Engineers Without Borders, bringing in technology and just keep the communities away from anything other than just technology and bettering their lives with like sanitation and water and things like that. And so he created this company, and he was using all the universities probably cheaply and get all the research. And so they started with Penn OU in particular, and then Dr. Nairn, and then Penn State, and then there's University of Thomas Frias and Potency, and then there's some other ones around. And he kind of grew all that, and then they only do work in Bolivia. And they just got a fantastic group down there. They're all Bolivian engineers. That's part of the plan, is that they can only reach their own communities. So they don't really have Americans there because it's hard for them to get in and get credibility. This is not just build a system and leave. This is an investment in the community. And one of the ones we won't talk about, but our last trip, we actually will talk about it. There was one, if you look on one of the pages, called Kupakala, and they put in a water system. That started in 2013, and then they had already had it engineered and everything. It was about $120,000, and our club put in $10,000, by the way. Thank you very much. And so, you know, once they get the water, then they put in the sanitation, and we'll get to see some of that. But it was Engineers Without Borders. They didn't have any money. Engineers in Action didn't have money, so they just posted. And Engineers Without Borders Gateway Group out of Atlanta and St. Louis answered it, had $110,000. They spent 5 years installing the system and doing the toilets. And ironically, it was the last year on our trip that we're going to go over, and they were the greatest people. They knew all the members. They were like, they were practically members of the community by this time. You know, they've been there since 13, so they've been 8 years. So, with that being said, I really appreciate all the support this club's given, and they've been supported the entire time, and there's more to go. What I'm going to do is, here's this, I'm going to up here. I can figure out how to work this button. This is the trip we did in April of 23, and what the plan was, we're going to go see a couple of new sites and see. We just did an irrigation system with the global grant in Opahoko in 2020, and then we're going to go to Kupakala, which we did all the sanitation and the toilets, which Dr. Sabatini went with me on that trip, and that was a good one, wasn't it? Kind of. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay. No, this is just kind of a lot of work. It's just one of our team members. There was some guys from Houston, 2 guys from Houston, John Rand from the Space Center Club, my friend Mark Wayne. I'm trying to get into Rotary, just won't do it. I've invited him to Space Center Club 3 times, he's gone every time, and he won't join. Whatever. But he's spreading the good word. And then Scott Rainey has moved to Austin. He wasn't on this trip, but then we have Ricardo and Carlos Valdez is the director of operations. So here it is. We arrived. This is our timetable. We start off with a pause. And we're going to go 2 places. We're going to go. The first trip is going to be the part we're doing now. It's called Cochabamba, and it is actually not on the Peru border. It's actually towards Chile, Atacama Desert. It's mind-boggling how dry it is out there. It's right next to Chile, and it's the largest mountain called Somalia. It's 6,500 meters, 200,000 feet. And we went out there and saw that site, and these are the sites we visited. The Cochabamba is down southeast. I don't have a pointer, but Cuba, see the lake, that's Lake Titicaca, and then you see those are the 4 sites we visited. Here we are, day 1, driving to out southeast of La Paz. And this has a video. We couldn't get the video transferred over. I'd love to show it to you. And I actually have it, but I can't show it on the screen, the big screen. So, but they make you dance, and they're ready for you. You know. So this is out in Cochabamba. There's about 150 people in this community. Never had running water, never had toilets. They still don't actually. That's what we're putting in. And so it's just, and they've been there for centuries, really. And so it's crazy. And this is a little detail about it. It's 248 kilometers from La Paz, a couple hundred miles. And then, this is a little bit of the community. We're going to see, there's another slide that's going to show this community in detail, because that's the one we selected. Primary livestock, llamas, alpacas, 21 families. There's about 130 or 40 people. It's just how dry it is, you can see. It's just this desert, if you'll read up on it, just look up on the internet right now, it's the driest desert next to one of the poles. Because of the conditions with the way the Pacific Ocean flows, and they have inversions, it's just never reported rain. And the only reason why somebody Chile had a war, Bolivia lost, and Chile wanted so they could get to Peru to defend themselves instead of having to go through Bolivia. That's the word out there. Okay, so here we are. They give you your shawls and everything. It's pretty fascinating. They make you talk, but they don't really understand it. Except they know why you're here. One thing I was mentioning to someone here, I noticed that here guy that wasn't dressed up, they all dressed up when we had food. There was one guy that was in a black hat and looked kind of normal, he didn't speak English. And I was kind of funny about him. I asked Carlos Valdez, who's the director of operations, who he was. He said, he's from the district. I said, oh, is that good? He goes, well, they come out and check on him every month. They do medical, they do all kinds of things. So anyway, I kind of left it at that for them. And so this is the goal here, was the water system. We're gonna put in a water system, communities not have it, etc. I encouraged them to do one thing, and we actually did it, and we raised the money. They were just gonna pipe water to the village, which is 10 kilometers away from one well. They're gonna build a water tower and have just a water system. I said, if we're gonna go to that effort, we may as well put in some latrines and have a community station that wash their vegetables and have them come out there. It wasn't that much more. As long as we're out, hustling money, we may as well get it all. And he said, exactly. And they just did the same thing in another village. So we got it all this time, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But basically, we put in a water system, and we found the high point. We've already engineered it. It's been engineered for a long time. This is a little bit of detail on the families. There's 21. There's 98 people. There's really more than that. There's another group that will take advantage of this. It'll be a 10,000-liter storage tank. There's one well that they have that can create the volume to fill this up, but they have to get a bigger pump, and they pump it up to this they've already engineered the pipe, and then they dig a trench, and they're going to dig it by hand, but it's pretty unconsolidated, so it's not going to be, it won't require anything more than manual. That's part of their, part of that they are going to actually dig, and that's, we won't have to pay for trenches and stuff. Plus, I don't know if you get the equipment there anyway. The global grant, we had that secure, thank you to this district. I mean, we didn't have that. We found out there was some money available from Ron and, some other people and Dennis, and not to say that they were hiding from anybody, but there was just money there, and they had a few years to use it. And this project is starting to get done, and I just went in and just kind of begged, and it didn't take much, and then Patty Swink and Bob Dill just said, well, we'll do it. And so the district put in half the funds, and the other half came from Space Center District, and then Austin's district, and anyway, so it's a straightforward project. I'll get to that later. There's some detail. This is actually where the see that hill on the right, that little basin, that's where the water tower would be, and they're gonna dig. It's basically 6 miles. And there's an aerial photo of what it looked like. Pinpointing the water tower up there, and the village down below. Let's see. Day 2. We are now at Apahoko and Ilibaya. Apahoko, we're busy, something we already did. We did an irrigation system. We finished it 9 months in 2020 with the global grant. Space Center Rotary Club and our club are the co-international sponsors. And the good news, that wasn't the case in 2009 when we had Potosi Rotary Club. The Rotary Club in La Paz is outstanding. They are just top notch. And we visited, we'll show you maybe this picture. But they, Potosi just unraveled. In fact, they've given up business, so to speak. They're going to recreate. But we were lucky to get through that. Well, we're not really lucky, but we had to work hard. So anyway, so we went to look at Apahoko, and they were happy to see us. And I would love to show you some video on that, but we're not going to be able to do that. There's some testimony that's 6 minutes long. They created a committee, and they elected presidents and all that, and whatever cycle we use. There we are. They're showing us the system. There's what it looks like from just a drawing. It was $108,000 to do this. And there's one of the tanks. And there's our rotary. You can't see it, it's kind of a crowded picture, but it has all the partners. There's a lot of districts. There's 3 from Texas, 1 from Minneapolis, our district. And Scott Rainey and I are making a pretty deliberate point to go out and try to expand this, because it's really working out really well, and I think we've got a good thing going, but it just takes more people. It truly is a team effort. You can't, you're told this when you grow up and you're in school, it's all about the teamwork, but it really is all about, this can't get done without multiple people. So you need to kind of lose the ego and start, incorporating in people that can help. And there are a lot out there. And Scott, our mission is to go find them and bring them in. There's the food. This is Savage favorite thing to do is eat this food. He had one of the videos I can't show, but he's seen it because he made it. That's the one I had, one of the ones And we can watch it afterwards if you're interested. It's pretty good, really. He's a good cameraman.
So why are we concerned about the food?
What's that?
Why are we concerned about the food?
Why are we concerned?
We might get sick from eating it.
That's true. They are told to boil all the potatoes or stuff like the lettuce. Don't eat the lettuce, but that's a great point. Yeah, I mean we got sick, didn't we? Kind of. Yeah, we did get sick. My son did. I don't know what's wrong with him. And this is really why. This is really more of a city. It's 800 people. Nice community. It's not in an arid area. It's in the middle of the mountain. There's a glacier right above it. I mean, it's the darndest thing ever. And so their system's not good enough. They want tourism here. It's really nice. It's really up in the mountains. I don't know how high, at least 15,000 feet. The question is still the water is still has to be treated. You know, there's 183 families who take care of people. This was one of the ones they were proposing to us, and we did decision tree. I figured that if we wanted to spread the word, we needed to build a bigger resume, and more of these, and the other was so much easier to do than this one. And 17 of those, the only thing that I can see that really caused the problem is that it caused overrun. There would be no way to fix it. It would just be, you just have to come home and tell everybody how bad you tried hard. You know, I just don't want to say that. And so we haven't yet, but you know, it can happen. And so I said, you really got to be conservative on this. So this other one is so much easier, and still they've never had water. These people at least had one. So we did a decision tree and decided on the other one. That's why the two different proposals that I'm to show you that after decision tree we invented a new PowerPoint. But this was a good one, and I told them, so we were talking about the guy that wasn't part of the community. Well, that happened here. There was another guy that showed up, and I told Carlos, hey, there's another guy that's not part of the community. And he goes, so the problem was, he's not part of the community. I said, well, who is he? He's with the district. And I thought, man, this sounds so bad. It sounds like a Chucky movie, which is the district. You know? And I said, well, he goes, he speaks English. Why don't you go talk to him? I said, is he over here? He goes, yes, they know you're here. And I said, they want to be here. So I go over and talk to him, and the guy was saying that he wanted to make sure that when he did his visit, he timed it when we were there so he could let us know that they really want us there. We hear a lot about Bolivia and all the politics and all that, but he goes, we need you here, we want you here, and I'm here to tell you that and encourage you to stay. And I'm asking you to do this project. And I had to get up and give a speech after he talked, and I said, but they didn't understand the translator. But I said, you know, I can't speak for Rotary without consensus, you know, but I can tell you one thing, I can tell you that I won't stop until I at least ask everybody on the planet. And that's my contribution to you. And they believe that. So I'm still not done yet, I guess, because I made a commitment to tell them I'd keep trying. But it's about the same price tag. I don't think we'll go through that one because it's really not even something we did. This is an old Spanish church. And there's a picture that they built. And there's one woman there that's from the community that speaks English better than I do. And she just works in a hotel with a pause. I mean, she has no accent. She's one on the far right with a hat. And there's Carlos in the middle, and there's a guy from the district on the right. See him? He's not dressed up. He doesn't have a leg out or anything. He's both pretty good. Then my friend Mark Wayne and Carlos Valdez is the best director of operations I've ever been around. Which isn't that many, but I can tell you right now, he is super good. And there I am with my friend John Wren from Space Center, and then the rest of some of the people. Day 3, we went to Kumakawa, and here we met with the Engineers Without Borders group. They came up to review the system. They've been working there since 2013, so they're on year 10. And here they are, most of them, I'm on the right, and then Ricardo, and then the rest of them on the right are, some of them are kids that are just new engineers out of school that joined Engineers in Action. There's different groups, and this is the one in Atlanta, and St. Louis called the Gateway Group. And they have some money they use it all in this project. You know, I need to go through it. They do 25 of the trains. We were involved in the trains. We did not do a grant. We just went around and got money and got it. And we, in our district, did a lot. I can't thank you enough again for that. There's one of the toilets behind them, you know. And then there's the group that we're just kind of milling around, you know, they're all thanking us, and they had some more food. And this is where Dr. Satine and I were, you wouldn't, they're acting like they tore down the old facility and rebuilt a new one for the school. And that came from the district. They put in some money, they finally did, and just like we were wondering if they ever would really contribute, and they have, and it looks really good, they're all loving it. And then there's kind of thing. So, hey Steve, can I get the other one and show you real quick? I don't know which time I have it. Finally, have a lot of PowerPoint. Thanks, Ron, for making me do this. He didn't make me, I had to do it. I've been meaning to do this for years. And I thought, you know, I'm going to forget where the stuff is. And I kind of lost a lot, you know, computer that I didn't need it. And I got enough to anybody would remember what we did. Okay, so now we did the decision tree on Billy Bayou and that one. And it's, you know, I didn't really tell you much about that. They have a system that's not good enough. They need to expand and do some things to it. I didn't get into it. I don't really know what all it is. Because I decided that, I had in my head we were going to do this one. It was just so much easier and it would build our resume and help us expand. So that was something I had. And they all agree with it. So, okay, this is, believe it or not, there's the tallest mountain in Bolivia in this next of the woods. That's it. It's called Mount Samaja. It's the one I was telling you about. Here's the mountain right there. And so now we're located only on, let's see what happened here. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So we've stepped, that's what we're gonna do. We just got approved. I got just an email just this morning from Rebecca Mendoza as she's gonna be our coordinator. And she was assigned that from Maria Emig, who's the head of all of South America, I believe. And when we did Apahoko, and then that was 2020, everything was real weird out because they all went home and we couldn't get any hold of anyone. And but we still made it, but it was kind of different, I guess. So we're talking with the community, and Amara is a group of indigenous people. There's Incan Indian kind of thing, and there's 3 groups of them. This is the largest one, and they have a different language, and they speak Spanish also. And they've been here for years, and the government does come and visit them a lot, well, monthly. And every time you go to some of these villages like Copacabana and stuff, these little tourist places, you'll see there's people with a bunch of jewelry or some kind of little figurines. Groups up there will make all the stuff during the month, and then they'll go sell it for money at the end of the month, or whenever they get down to these little bazaars. Okay, so this is, that's one of the wells that they already have. Here's the kids. The kids are good. They made me raise the flag while the kids did the next one. So that was pretty cute. I've got that one too. But they were just excused to be. There's a lot of kids. The problem is they have a lot of infant mortality. I mean, there's a lot of illness here because they're like have teens seen all over the world. They don't have the sanitation that we have, and we're trying to provide that and water. And this is the problem right here: the lack of safe and reliable water. They have some water, but it's not good, and it's still limited. Poor sanitary conditions. I mean, they have no toilets; they're all outhouses. Lack of knowledge about technical cameras, they don't know how to do that. It's just poverty. But they make it because they've been doing it for years. But it's not what you and I would expect that they would want. Here's what happens without it: they'll have insufficient water access to community. This is stuff that they do for community assessments that the Rotary Club will make you do. I mean, you'll have to have some community assessment before they'll ever approve the grant. And this is all part of what they did already. Engineers in action down, they're very good at this. They're really good at this. Current water is dry every year, so there's a lot of droughts and things. Sanitary problems and lack of water restrictions, so people, they might abuse the water. So this is, they actually carry the water back. That's what he's doing, carrying a jug back to the community 10 kilometers away. Just like you see in any other country, Africa or whatever, they go out and get it and bring it back. They don't just know how to get it there. The water system will provide drinkable access to the community. So what we're going to do is put in they found a well that's adequate to fill up the 10,000 liter tank. They've got to get a bigger pump. They pump it up. It's Then they have 10,000 meters of pipeline after, there's a storage tank. And, there'll be 19 households connected to it. There'll be one restroom. They weren't gonna do any restroom first, and I said, we can't go all the way up here and not do this, yeah. And there's kind of a design of it. So. And this won't be that hard, the problem's just getting all the stuff up there, you know. And, there's a big problem this year. There's a lot of inflation going on, like in Argentina and all that, and it's really a problem, people are worried about it down there. But Carlos was saying they've done a lot of investigating. These will be US dollars, so we'll buy all this material at one time. It's not something they can't do. And so he said, we really don't have a problem with ours, but if you're buying with their money, you're likely to have a problem. And we scoured that. We're not sending anybody down there if we're going to have inflation, we're going to spend all our money and then have not be enough. So anyway, so this is it, construction money. This was a $108,000 project. Our district put in $37,000, the rest of them put in like 25, and then we got a grant for like 40 something. And then the communities also put some money, and all the clubs we put in our club money, you know, 1,500, Space Center 1,500, 1,500 from the, it's called the Rotary Club, the Pause Rotary Club Serve, which is the South Club. There's several clubs there, I guess. And then the district down there puts in some money, so they're a real good partner. They don't put in as much as we did, they put in enough to be worthy. Okay, so anyway, so the community and the counterpart, so this is some of the detail. I don't know that we need to go through this, you know, take too long. And this is kind of their design. You can just see the picture. This is the restroom, the community center that we were recommending. There's what it looks like. So that's what, they've already done two of these before. And the one they did in Kumakawa, they just didn't put in this, they put in, they had a little bit harder problem because they had a lot of relief. I mean, they're real steep, so they don't have room to build that, so they have them on, they're on ledges practically, but they do have toilets. These are the same design that they put in two other places. And these communities talk, they do a lot of talking. And so they want what they had, and so that's what they do. They go to Carlos, and I knew the guy before Carlos named Ruben, and he left and started working for the like their equivalent BPA, Mother Earth. And we went out and they did, and we had a great time when we went last year. I just called him, I saw his phone number, he still answered it. And he was somewhat retired, but he and Carlos are both from La Paz, and they actually know each other. They just tag team each other on that deal. Anyway, this is gonna look really good. And here's the kids, this is not their community, this is one of the ones they put in. This is gonna mimic what they did. I'm not sure where this one is. And there we are, so that's a real hurried version of our trip and what we decided to do. Like I said, I just don't want to forget how much I appreciate everyone's support. This is to me, it's a big deal. I mean, I didn't think I was going to get into 5 of these things. And the first one I thought I was going to put everything. And then it didn't work out that bad. And so then the Ethiopian project was pretty, that was a buffer. That was an OU project with 17 in Chamberlain. I heard about Tashoma. That's sad. But that one worked out, and then from there, I talked to David Stevenson, who had retired. Now, I'm just going to tell you one thing.
You're fine. You're fine. It's 12:51.
Okay. This is pretty bizarre. So, go back to the first one we did. It caused so much disruption because when we put in that limestone channel in phase 1 to get that water neutralized so we go into the passing system, birds started coming back and started having algae. And Freddie Landos never really went back and did much, but they didn't need to. And so then they kidnapped this is how they handle things down there. They kidnapped the governor and held him for ransom until the farmers and the miners would get along or whatever. I don't know. But it was caused so much destruction because there was still one tailing pile that it was Qumran Mines, what's called this. Patricia Monnier, they're not even believed they are believed from Europe. And they never associated. It's really kind of weird. They basically kicked her out and took over the mines, and she was working in the pause somewhere. But she'd never put in her active treatment system. But then there's this huge mine on that periphery, an international mining company that said, we see what's heading on this Rare Kushi watershed. We're putting in an active system that's gonna cut us up. This tank is basically inactive, and it's just pollution from the surrounding area. And they put in a really big system, so it caused all these things to happen. But we never really got ours handled, because Patricia never did it far, and the government took over. And then there's some greedy people that want to continue to mine the tailing. And I said, well, you can't cross-contaminate once you get it. And there's these 3 lakes that are really big lakes that are just like 2.5 pH, something obnoxious above, that are really, really hazardous. So anyway, bottom line is they kidnapped the governor, and so the new Rotary Club guy, the Rotary Club dismantled, and then there was this guy, I can't remember his name, the guy that came in after I left Colonel Sadie Pardo. And he came in, and they went and picketed the government to allow Bill Strohsnyder and some guys. He went to Clemson University after St. Francis University, and he's still going down there. And so they had some other people that were active to put him in a passive treatment if everything could get worked out. So he's down there hustling it, and the Methodist guys, the Methodist group that he was ordained in, said, "You got to pick one. You're causing this problem. You don't want anything to do with this, and your name's slapped all over everything. You're gonna have to be either a minister, or you're gonna have to be something else. You know, you're gonna have to be with Engineers in Action. You can't be a minister and represent us in GDS, because you're causing a lot of disruption." And that's what it takes to get something done, apparently, is a lot of disruption. And so he decided to step down, because he always wanted Engineers in Action to kind of get really big, and he said, he's older, he's not elder, he's older. So he stepped down. We just had the 25-year anniversary last fall, and I went to in Tulsa, he's from Tulsa. And he's actually in the Southside Tulsa Rotary Club. And he stepped down, and we hired some new people. And that's when they incorporated into Bolivia and created these 2, money here, work here. And it has gotten a lot bigger, and it's very well organized. So they continue to do that. I really don't know any more than the superficial. Dr. Nair may know a lot more, because he was the president of the board at one time. And, but anyway, that's still going on. I mean, yes, sir.
Question, one thing I did notice from our trip was snow. When we went down there in July, everything was covered with snow.
Oh, 25 degrees, and I'll tell you something else. Yeah, it's bizarre. And that's their winter, but you know what happened when we went this time? There was no snow. And if you were able to see, if you were able to see to your right what it looked like, you would have never gone in that Jeep. Ever. I was going like, oh my God, this is like where's some Trail Ridge in Denver, whatever. I mean, it's like this big with gravel, and it's just a straight vertical drop. And I said, it can't be possible. They did it anyway.
Question, what about electricity?
At this place, they have, great question. That was actually brought up. They have had electricity run the pump for a while. They've had the district bring these types of amenities. So they've had electricity, not a lot, but they have enough to run pumps and things like that. And so Carlos made sure they had all the adequate electricity and utility to do that. Yeah.
Do the people have any buy-in? Do they pay anything for the water?
Well, if I can show you this video of Apahoko, they created a whole government. And so that's what we did last time. They're going to be, the whole community is digging the trench, they're doing all the labor. So they have a lot of buy-in. Yes, they do. And we bring that question up every single time, because I don't want to come back and report. I'm just saying, I really appreciate what everybody does here. And everybody expects it to be a team effort, and they don't want to be viewed as, oh, you just do all the work and they get all the benefit. They need help, they can't do it by themselves, but they do buy in, it's really not all the money as much. They do a little bit of money, like if you were to go back and see the house they put in, that was done by the government, it wasn't done by the community.
Tom, I want to say a big thank you to you for sticking with this program since our club first became involved. But one of the things that stands out to me from the very beginning, today you're talking about all the groups that are involved. And one of the reasons that I'm not sure if it's David or Tom, some other people, when people came, well-meaning people came in and built a well or a latrine for the people, then they left. And when they came back in a couple of years, they said, why are you carrying water? Well, they didn't know how to take care of it or be part of it. And the program you described has everyone's involvement, which I think, and it takes your work, hard work.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll tell you one thing that kind of started this back, is when Bob Greenstreet was the district governor that had it down in Ada, and they called me and Dr. Nairn and said, we want you to get David Stevenson, this is the guy from the EPA and Waterland, we want you to get David Stevenson here, we want him to come in and get in one of these breakout sessions, tell everybody how it gets done, because he knew that David had this plan, and some people do it, but some people don't. And so David Stevens said, I'm not coming anywhere. He just stepped down. It's a big mess. I mean, I say that. I think he had his feelings hurt, even though we both ordained ministers still do it. So they made me and Nairn do it, and then we also brought this lady from marketing there. And the way they do things, there is an investment in the community. And so when they ask, is there anybody, like, they make sure they create a system, and they're in fact, they license a plumber, and then he has to be the plumber for the first 2 years, and he can go to La Paz and get a job. I mean, they do all kinds of, educational stuff. Yes, sir.
Thanks for bringing that point up, Judy. One of the big, requirements for global grant money is that the project has to be sustainable,
Yes,
or you don't get the money.
correct.
So they're very careful, the trustees are very careful about awarding global grants because of that, because what Judy talked about years ago and what got this change in the Future Vision Committee was the fact that all these wells were built in Africa and they weren't there after a couple of years. So if we're gonna give our money to the Rotary Foundation, I think all of us want to know that it's being done correctly.
Yes.
And I trust the Rotary Foundation to ensure that that continues. What if somebody, and I would echo Judy's comment about your commitment to this. This really makes our club a very special club in the Rotary world. And the districts we partnered with, the Houston district and the Austin district and others, Scott Rainey just happens, by the way, to be an OU grad.
Yeah, we were there at the same time. We had
About as added as you can find. But if somebody wanted to get involved with this project, with you on this, out of our club or in any other club in town or our district, how would they do it, Tom?
They would just have to call me. I have to tell you, Scott and I it was just really after Acapulco, and we went down there last year, that I kind of changed my perspective. I like doing this, but you just kind of one and done, and when am I going to quit kind of thing. It takes a lot of energy to do this, I really like it. It's got to be more. You can't have one guy say, I'm going to run out of gas here, and somebody needs to carry on. And so, anyway.
Tom, you mentioned getting the materials to the site. How do you get all that? How do all those materials get to the construction site?
Well, Carlos, their team, it's called FIA. They're all from the pod. They know the roads. When we get bids, they do a lot of construction. They do a lot of bridges. There's a lot of bridging of communities so they can share schools. So bridges is another big program. We just haven't done one. And they know all the suppliers. Like when we were doing the one in Posey, Colonel Sadie Carter and I went over the limestone lines, and he was over there cutting the deal. I didn't have any idea what it was, but he was arguing with me. He's in the military, so he won. No, that's how it works. They know where everything is. They get it there. They have transportation. It's just more crude, but it works, But anyway, I just want to thank everybody here. This has really been fun, and I just want to say that the last time we went there, I decided that we're going to expand this. And my role, when we get in these little meetings in the morning, Patty Swink, I've invited her a few times, and that was all kind of okay. But, you don't want to be like me at Putnam where you're talking to everybody shuts up, You got to let people interject, because there's a lot of them that are now coming up the meeting, so we can almost have them too big. But I want to get with Scott. Scott knows everybody, and we're both from OU, so we get along. So we're going to go out and try to bring in some districts. There's a guy named AJ Boyd who's on the board, and he's out of Chicago. He's a Rotarian. Used to be, with Insurance South Worker. So anyway, I'm just going to continue that avenue, and